thought that all I was doing was teaching people how to kick and punch and block, I'd quit tomorrow. That's teaching violence. I don't want to teach violence. When you train in a karate class, we don't have a life and death situation, obviously. But what we do have is you have one-step sparring, you have techniques that are challenging to you physically. If they're challenging physically, the only way you're going to be able to do them is to get your mind involved. You've got to be focusing on what you're doing in order to do it correctly. That kind of focus raises a person's awareness that makes everything unbelievably clear in the moment. In a real threatening situation, you're not going to want to be thinking about what happened yesterday or tomorrow. You have to be in the moment to protect yourself. One of the things that comes up for most people when presented with a new situation or a different situation is, I can't do that. That's the first thing that pops into their head. I can't do that. If you ask probably 100 people, my guess is you'd have 70 of them say, well, yeah, that's the first thing I think of. Karate can help a person overcome that because you look at a technique and you say, I can't do that. And 10 minutes later, you're doing it. And then the next technique, I can't do that. And then 10 minutes later, you're doing it. That's the type of thing. It builds confidence, it builds self-control, self-discipline, self-respect, respect for others. It does all of that. That's what enthuses me. I watch a student start, adult or child, doesn't matter, and you'd swear they're so uncoordinated they can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Impossible. And 6 months, 12 months, 24 months later, you look at the same student and they are an entirely different person. I've had parents come to me and say, you can't believe what's happened to my kid's grades. He went from a C and D student to now he's a B and an A student. And it's the only thing we've done different is karate. If the child does the work, the child gets the reward. They get the right to say, I did that. And that's why when I award rank, I hand the belt to the child and I shake the child's hand, or the adults, doesn't matter which, because it's their accomplishment. It's their work that made it happen. It's not mom's and it's not dad's. It's their work. And that is crucial for self-respect for any human being on earth. Well, I've been doing this with children for almost 40 years. I've seen a lot of kids come and go. Age limitations on karate, I would say probably the optimum age to start would be 8 years old. I teach classes for 6 to 8. As far as the top end, there is no top end. I have a student who's 80. I've known other students who were approaching 90. So there really isn't any top end at all. Rank in karate is usually awarded after a certain amount of time, but more importantly is a certain amount of proficiency. In my school, I award rank to the students that are coming up based on how well they perform, not if they've been there a certain amount of time. It's a step-by-step process so people can develop, because most people that I've ever met have never been in a fight, don't want to be, which is a good thing, but they want to know how to handle it if they need to.
We have forward, backward, reaction. One augments the other. All right? So, jab, then come back to the center. One.
Once you achieve first degree black, that basically indicates that you're a master of basics. That seems to be the criteria that the public has of being absolutely the best there is. Well, if that were the case, there wouldn't be 10 degrees of black belt. The number of people who reach it, who start karate, is very minimal because it takes a great deal of work. It takes a great deal of practice, and there is no way to get this by reading books. It has to be done through sweat and just plain practice over and over and over. It's the only way it can be done. When you're sparring, when you're doing karate, when you are living a, quote, Zen life, you don't hold on to things. You don't hold on to thinking. You don't hold on to ideas. When I'm training alone, it's almost like pure meditation. because I'm just focused on what the next technique is. What's the next move? What happened to my back heel on that last step? Why did it do this? How did it? But I'm always focused on the moment rather than thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch or something like that. The important thing about karate is what do you get out of it as a human being? That's the most important. And I would say that's probably true of any martial art. A valid martial arts instructor is more interested in the development of character than they are fighting. I mean, what are the odds that you're ever going to get in a fight? Probably very small. Hopefully, that would be wonderful. So then why are you spending all the time sweating and kicking and punching and reading about martial arts? It's personal development. Karate is about enlightenment toward the idea that you can be a better person. Spreading peace around the world by using the martial arts. Sounds like an oxymoron. How can you use a martial art to create peace? You do it by understanding that fighting is not the answer. Communication, talking, figuring things out that way, even if we disagree vehemently, it makes more sense to talk than it does to shoot somebody or fight with somebody or kick somebody. That doesn't make any sense. I think everyone has a warrior mentality to one degree or another. You take a mother at a grocery store and somebody tries to hurt her 3-year-old child, she's going to turn into a warrior. The warrior mindset is aware of what's going on around them, but it doesn't mean that they're going to fight with them physically or verbally. It's just being aware. If a person trains as if they're training for a real situation, a real fight, a real confrontation, if you train that way, you get so much better than if all you're doing is moves, like an aerobics class. Nothing wrong with aerobics, I'm not putting them down. I'm just saying there's a whole different mindset on aerobics. That's movement to burn calories. I read not too long ago that a martial arts class is in the top 10, and I think, as I recall, it was in the top 5 of calorie burning exercises you can do. If you do it as a martial artist, you're going to burn more calories, you're going to have more exercise than you'll ever get from going someplace else.
So your first 2 moves are a block, then a punch. If you don't block well, you don't get the punch. Make sense?
Karate is a microcosm of life. A dojo and the people in it, the students in it, basically make up a family. My dojo, I have people from Jamaica, Ethiopia, Mongolia, China, Korea, Japan, Mexico, people from all over the world, literally, in my dojo. The essence of karate is the development of character. Hopefully, most people who study a martial art will never get in a fight. That would be a great idea. Karate is a method of honing the body and the mind so that you can use it to protect yourself. That's the essence of martial art, self-defense, that type of thing.